Hey, Mount fans, Adam Pohl here. It's time for another Mount Athletics podcast. And today we're going to take a look forward at an exciting season of women's basketball ahead with Antoine, the head coach of the Mount women's basketball team, who are picked preseason third in the 13-team MAC conference. Make sure to check our athletics schedule for everything happening on campus at mountathletics.com. So now let's settle in for a conversation with the head basketball coach on the women's side here of the Mount, Antoine White. Hey, Mount fans, we welcome you back here on our Mount Athletics podcast. We are turning the page here once again from the fall here to the winter season. My name is Adam Pohl, joined by Mount women's basketball coach Antoine White. Coach White, I know you got a lot of excitement here going into this season, but let's look back a little bit first. Going into the MAC a few seasons ago, you really wanted to establish your program as one of the leaders of the conference. So to play in the semifinals at the conference level in each of the last 2 years, I know has been a huge step for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. From day one joining the MAC, we've been trying to build something that's sustainable, and we want to be up in that top 3 and top 5 year in and year out. And we've been working extremely hard to get that done, and we've taken steps in the right direction, and we're looking forward to taking another one this season.
It's interesting because, and last year I think stands out in this way as well, where you've had to adjust your style in season to maximize the productivity of who you have, right? And that is a sign of great coaching, right? It's do you run what you want to run, or do you kind of figure out what sometimes that might not be the best fit for what you have? And I know that this season, what you're so excited about too is that you might have a team that kind of is able to play that style that you want to bring year in and year out even more so to the table.
Yeah, no, the last 2 years we've gotten off the slow starts, and it's been a struggle trying to find our identity. But I think we have come up with a blueprint, a style of play that we're committed to on the defensive end and offensive end, and we've made some huge progress when it comes to our identity, and we've recruited to that. We're longer, we're more athletic. We're a way more physical basketball team from top to bottom. Mm-hmm. So really excited about the roster that we put together for this upcoming season.
All right. Now, you did mention a little bit of it. We don't want to give away any secrets here, obviously, but and we're going to look a little bit later at some of the new pieces on this team, but speak to that level of athleticism and what it allows you to do.
Yeah, starting first with Gabby Kennerly, returning back from last season, averaged 11.5 points for us, one of the better athletes in the MAC. And then we picked up a transfer, Kayla from Barry. She's a D2 transfer, big-time athlete. And then Amber, who's 6'4" and strong. And then you got Berlin, who's 6'3", and then we get Teo back, who's 6'2". So we got the size. We're very long, and I'm committed to the zone. I've sold my soul. I don't play man-to-man anymore. So our zone looks different. We cover a lot of space out there with all these athletes that we brought in.
What is it like in this day and age where I know it can be tumultuous in coaching because in a way you're not just trying to bring new recruits that are freshmen, but in a way you're recruiting your team constantly. To have a staff with a lot of continuity that has worked together, I know that you love the crew that you have with you. How big is that to really growing this program?
It's huge. My staff has done an amazing job when it comes to recruiting. They understand my vision, and I think they're doing an excellent job of making that vision come true for us. And so with my staff and then the administrators, the way that we get supported from top to bottom with President Jerry and Brad and Justine and the rest of the crew, it's a really good feeling, and they're giving us a chance to go compete at a high level, and that falls on my shoulders to make sure I make it all come true.
And the home opener is on November 15th. Morgan State will be here at Knott Arena. Get your tickets now at mountathletics.com. But with that being said, it's going to be a challenging non-conference schedule. Who we have on the docket?
I haven't learned my lesson, Adam. I've been doing this since I took over as the head coach. We load up our non-conference, and we do that to challenge ourselves. We opened up with Richmond, who's ranked 19th in the country right now. And then you got Pitt and Maryland, and we play a lot of Patriot League teams who were picked pretty high in the Patriot League this season. So, I'm excited about it. I think we have the roster to go out and compete at a high level in non-conference, and we don't want to get off to a slow start. We want to get off to a good start and build on that identity, so when conference play comes around, we feel good about ourselves and hit the ground running when it comes MAC play.
All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. We return with Coach White. We're going to take a more in-depth look at this year's roster right after this. Welcome back to our Mount Athletics podcast. My name is Adam Pohl, joined by the Mount head women's basketball coach in Antoine White, as we're just really weeks away from tip-off here of this 25-26 season. We spoke to athleticism. You did lose a lot last year as far as graduating players, and you lost a lot of shooting. A lot of scoring ability. Giraflo was really one of the best players in a long time here in her outstanding career at Mount St. Mary's. It's interesting because it's not just going to be a straight person that slides into those roles, but you do have a lot returning as well to the program this year, and that's going to be big for you.
Absolutely. It's hard to replace a Joe Raffalo, so thanks for reminding me of that. Joe's overseas right now in Germany, having a really good start to her pro career, so very proud of Joe, but some big shoes to fill, and I think we have some key returners to help fill that void, and Gabby Kennerly, again, I mentioned earlier what she was capable of doing last year, and she looks great and poised to make a really big jump for us this season. And Gianna Hannah and Jaden Jameson, they look great right now. We've challenged them, and I let them know, people disrespected your offensive game last year, and we're going to need you two to step up and work on your games and be more of a threat when it comes to that end. And they've done an amazing job of doing that so far in the preseason and summer. So look for those three to really help with that void. And then the transfers that we brought in, then freshmen, is going to be a team effort. This team reminds me of the group we had 4 or 5 years ago where the scoring was just spread out from top to bottom. I think when you look at our box scores, we're not going to have, that Joe Raffalo night in and night out. I just think, it's going to be 15 here, 13, 10, and 5, 5, and 6, and 7. And I think that's going to make us really, really difficult to defend on the offense end.
And you've got some great newcomers. You talked about the transfer portal. One player that has stood out for me watching practice has been the physicality down low. Bullard has been outstanding.
Yeah, Amber's she's a force down low. We haven't had a post player like that, I don't think, ever here at the Mount. And I'm excited about what she's able to bring to the table. And yeah, we've changed our style of play. We want to dominate the paint, as far as getting easy post touches down there. We got a lot of different options between Amber, Jay, Berlin, and Teo. We can really post people up. So we're going to look to take advantage of that. And then rebounding. Rebounding is something that we've emphasized back in July, is hitting the glass, cleaning it up on the defensive end. And then offensively, we got to go get second and third opportunities.
And I know that you have also brought some pieces in from a guard perspective.
Yes, Alana Powell is a transfer from Omaha, very talented playmaker. She can get in the paint at will, and she's a very, very talented passer. We've been on AP about her scoring as well. We want her to be a playmaker, but we also want AP to score the basketball. And I think Nayote's another one who's a returner from last year. She's made some strides in the right direction. So look for her to be really aggressive from three and help fill in some of that production from the three.
And let us know a few of the freshmen here that are getting their first taste of Division I basketball.
Yeah, Aaron Edmonds and Berlin Carlson are our two true freshmen, both very talented, both getting used to college basketball right now. But both,
everything. School, everything.
The whole nine, but both are really, really talented kids. They're trying to figure it out. They have highs and lows, but when they have their highs, they're turning heads in the gym. So, for them, it's a day-by-day process, and both can bring a lot to the table for us. So really excited about their development moving forward.
Lastly, Coach, you were picked preseason third in the MAC. I believe that's the highest that the Mount women's team has been picked in the preseason in now 4 years in the MAC. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I'd be lying if I told you that I didn't feel good. It feels really good to be picked in the top three. Again, we've been working extremely hard to have that kind of recognition in this conference and to be mentioned with the Fairfields and the Quinnipiacs. It feels good, but we're not doing this for likes. We're getting closer and closer to knocking on that MAC championship, and that's what we want. And that's what we're striving for. But we got a long, long way to go. So for us, it's about stacking good days and continuing to build on that identity.
All right, Coach White, best of luck here as we get ready for the season to come.
Appreciate it, Adam.
That's Antoine White. We're going to take, that's going to do it for us. We're not going to take a break. We're going to take a long break until the next Mount Athletics podcast. But we thank you for joining us again. The Mount women's basketball season, the home opener is Saturday, November the 15th against Morgan State. Get ththose tickets at mountathletics.com. We'll see you again next time.